Always read the manufacturer's instructions for use and follow institutional policies and procedures for vascular device insertion. Before using the Aero VPS Rhythm DLX device for the first time, familiarize yourself with the device and its components. The VPS Rhythm DLX device includes a monitor, remote control, ECG snap leads, and an AC power supply and power cord. The ultrasound probe and the T-piece can be purchased separately. See the VPS Rhythm DLX device operator's manual and the Navicurve stylet instructions for use for full indications for use and for full operational details. This video is an overview of the complete functionality of VPS Rhythm DLX device with ultrasound, tip tracker technology, and ECG using the preloaded Aero pick with the Navicurve stylet. Prior to using the VPS Rhythm DLX device with tip tracker technology and ultrasound, gather the required supplies and equipment. Let's start with pre-sterile setup of the VPS Rhythm DLX device using the ultrasound, T-piece, and Aero pick preloaded with Navicurve stylet. Connect the remote control, ultrasound probe, and T-piece cables to the back of the monitor. The connectors and sockets are color-coded, and the arrows on the connectors should face upwards. Turn on the monitor. Select Start Case. If the ultrasound probe is connected, the ultrasound module will open. Here, the clinician can do the initial, non-sterile vessel assessment. The icons along the bottom of the ultrasound module are as follows. The snowflake icon freezes the image on the screen. You can also freeze the ultrasound image with a quick tap on the ultrasound probe button. Select the icon again to unfreeze the image. The camera icon takes a snapshot of the ultrasound image. You can also take an ultrasound snapshot with a long press of the blue button on the ultrasound probe. The snapshot enlarges on the screen for 3 seconds before automatically saving to the right side of the screen. Each snapshot taken throughout the case is assigned a sequential number. An unlimited number of snapshots can be taken throughout a case. The depth icon opens or closes a control to change the ultrasound depth scaling. Each small dot is a ½ centimeter. The color flow mode icon toggles color Doppler on or off. This icon expands to include 2 sub-icons, color flow gain and flow rate. The sun icon opens and closes a control to change the gain of the ultrasound image. The ruler icon opens or closes a pop-up for measurement of catheter to vessel ratio. To use the catheter to vessel ratio tool, select the ruler icon along the bottom of the screen. Position the pop-up screen so that the blue dashed line circle is centered over the ultrasound image of the vessel. Touch the blue plus or minus sign to match the size of the vessel. Touch the orange plus and minus buttons to select the size of the catheter. The vessel size displays at the top of the tool, and the catheter size displays below. As these selections change, you can see the catheter to vessel ratio both in diameter and area. Select the camera icon on the screen to take a snapshot of the catheter to vessel ratio. When the ultrasound vessel assessment is complete, select Insert CVAD. Enter a unique patient ID and select the green check mark. Select PIC. When PIC is chosen as the catheter type, measurements must be entered by the clinician. Use the arrows and selection icons to enter the patient landmark measurement. From the Enter PIC length screen, use the arrows and selection icons to select the PIC length. Please note that this automatically defaults to 2 centimeters added to the patient landmark measurement to allow negative deflection to be reached. The catheter is then retracted 2 centimeters to achieve the maximum P wave. The selected patient and catheter lengths are displayed in the case bar on the right side of the screen throughout the case. Connect the ECG snap leads to the corresponding color of the ECG hub on the T-piece. Attach the adhesive electrodes to the snap leads and apply ECG electrodes to the patient's body. Verify the monitor is in external ECG mode. Please note that the external ECG waveform is yellow on a blue background and has the yellow icon. The external ECG icon can also be seen in orange at the bottom left corner of the device, confirming you are in external ECG mode. Confirm that the patient is in sinus rhythm. It is recommended that you capture a snapshot of the baseline external ECG. After it saves, the screen defaults back to ultrasound mode for the PICC insertion to begin. It is recommended that the patient lie in a supine position if possible. Remove the plastic bag from the non-sterile section of the PICC, preloaded with NaviCurve stylet kit. Place the T-piece in the plastic cover and secure it. Align the notch of the T-piece to the sternal notch on the patient's chest. Place the T-piece on the patient's chest with tape side down. Establish the sterile field and prepare the patient. Pick up the sterile sleeve from inside of the kit. Carefully place your hand all the way inside the sleeve. Firmly grasp the tip of the remote control cable plug from inside the end of the sterile sleeve and slide the sleeve over the remote control and cable. The remote control has left, enter, and right buttons to toggle through the icons along the bottom of the screen. Pull the sterile sleeve tightly over the tip of the remote control cable plug without piercing the plastic. While maintaining the sterile field, carefully insert the remote control plug into the NaviCurve stylet jack and twist slightly, piercing the sterile sleeve. Verify the stylet disconnected icon stops flashing at the top of the monitor screen and disappears. Trim the PICC to the desired length. Do not cut or kink the NaviCurve stylet. Ensure the tip of the NaviCurve stylet is 1 centimeter inside the PICC tip. Access the vessel under ultrasound guidance. After access, use the remote control or touchscreen to select the navigation icon. An electromagnetic interference warning will appear on the monitor screen, warning that temporary disruption may occur when navigation tracking is selected. For patients with an implanted medical device, such as a pacemaker, consider placing a pillow on the patient's chest with the T-piece on top of the pillow, correctly aligned to the patient's sternal notch. The edge of the T-piece should be a minimum distance of 8 centimeters from the implanted device. The VPS Rhythm DLX device can still be used on patients with implanted medical devices, although another method of tip confirmation is required. To ensure patient safety, review the EMI warning and select either the green check to continue or the red X to not engage navigation mode. Slowly thread the PICC per institutional policy and procedure and manufacturer's instructions for use. The blue tip tracker technology line illustrates the catheter pathway as it approaches and descends towards the SVC and allows easy, real-time adjustments during PICC navigation. Verify that the P wave on the intravascular ECG waveform is present, identifiable, and consistent. The T-piece has approximately a 22 centimeter or 9-inch sphere of visual navigation from the center of the T-piece. If the stylet is out of magnetic range of the T-piece, an alert will appear on the screen. During navigation, it may be necessary to reposition the PICC and erase the tip tracker technology line. As the PICC is threaded through the vasculature, and appears to be going in the wrong direction. Retract the PIC. Select the trash icon to completely erase the tip tracker technology line. The user can take an optional snapshot of the blue tip tracker technology line, showing that it is descending towards the SVC. When the user takes an optional snapshot of the tip tracker technology line, the device will automatically switch to intravascular ECG mode. The user can also move into intravascular ECG mode by selecting the heart icon on the bottom left corner of the screen using the remote. During intravascular ECG mode, the intravascular ECG window is larger than the external ECG window. There are only 2 snapshots required to complete a case: negative deflection and maximum P wave. Look for changes in ECG waveforms and P wave amplitude growth. Continue to slowly thread the PIC past the initial maximum P wave until a negative deflection is identified. You can either tap the camera icon on the monitor or use the remote control during the procedure to obtain intravascular ECG snapshots. Once the negative deflection is captured, slowly retract the PIC until the maximum P wave amplitude is identified. Capture the maximum P wave. To use the P wave region highlight tool, select the ECG waveform icon along the bottom of the screen, using the remote while in intravascular ECG mode. When enabled, when the user takes an intravascular ECG snapshot, this feature will highlight the region where the P wave should exist in a patient with normal sinus rhythm. Once the 2 required snapshots have been obtained, select Finish using the remote. On the Enter Exposed Length screen, use the arrows and selection button on the remote to select the exposed catheter length. After entering the exposed length, the tip confirmation checklist appears. Verify that all checked items are met. If less than 2 intravascular ECG snapshots are saved for the procedure, a message displays stating there are not enough snapshots to satisfy the checklist, and the Yes icon is disabled. Remember to complete the sterile portion of the PIC procedure before selecting Yes or No on the checklist. Disconnect the T-port and Navicurve stylet from the PIC and slowly withdraw them as a unit from the PIC. Do not remove the stylet through the T-port. Secure and dress the PIC per your institutional policy and procedure and manufacturer's guidelines. The sterile portion of the procedure is now complete. Use the touchscreen to finalize the tip confirmation checklist. If one or more of the parameters have not been met, select No, and another method of catheter tip confirmation is required. If all the checklist parameters have been met and the procedure is complete, select Yes. If the hospital policy is in place, the PIC can be released for use immediately, and no confirmatory chest X-ray is required. After the tip confirmation checklist has been answered, verify the patient information, document any case notes, and select the green checkmark. As all case documentation is complete, the device returns to the home screen. Select Manage Cases and enter your 4-digit clinician PIN. Case records are stored in chronological order, with the most recent file at the top. A maximum of 100 case records can be stored on the device. If more than 100 case records are created, the oldest is deleted at the next power-on. Select the patient file on the touchscreen, then select the arrow on the right side of the screen. Expand case details. All measurements and snapshots taken during the case are shown. Tap the magnifying glass to enlarge a snapshot. Patient files can be printed or downloaded to a USB flash drive for the patient's medical record. Simply unselect any images you don't wish to print or download by clicking the checkmark next to that image. VPS Rhythm DLX also records all cases from start to finish. Select View Recording to see the recording. Connect the Dymo 4XL printer into AC power and the USB cable into the VPS Rhythm device via one of the USB ports in the back of the monitor. Once connected to a printer, when a case is selected, you can tap the printer icon to send the case documentation to the printer. Alternatively, connect a USB flash drive to one of the USB ports on the back of the monitor. Once a USB is connected on the back of the monitor, when a case is selected in Case Manager, you can tap the USB icon to transfer the case documentation to the connected USB drive. Tap the X in the top right corner to leave the Case Manager and return to the VPS Rhythm DLX home screen.